Hey everyone, Karan here welcoming you back to Final Fantasy Tactics. In the last episode, we finished the game. We defeated Ultima, the Holy Angel, and ended up destroying everything underneath Orban Monastery to do it, apparently. And it seemed as though we destroyed Ramza and everyone else in the process. As it turns out, though, Ramza and Alma, in fact, did survive the events, it would appear, and then went off to basically parts unknown. Delita married Princess Avelia and became King of Ivalice, then subsequently assassinated Develia. Avelia tried to assassinate him back, but as it turns out, it probably didn't work because, well, Delita ends up reigning long and prosperous and all that good stuff, so he likely survived that knife stab. The Durai Papers, as compiled by Olan, would end up being held in trust, or basically held by the church for several centuries until they were discovered by Olan's I don't even know how many great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandson or something like that, Ala Salam Durai, and then published. And that is what opens Ramza's tale to the masses and reveals him for the hero that he is. In this episode, we are back on the continent of Ivalice because we are back on the map before the events going on in Orban Monastery. Keep in mind, Orban was a self-contained series of battles that ended the game. So everything that happened in Orban, experience gained, items gained, weapons lost, in the case of Excalibur, and the whole series of events in the endgame never happened in this playthrough because we have not gone there yet. Where we are now, however, is outside the optional area that has no story relevance whatsoever, the Deep Dungeon. Now, why would you do the Deep Dungeon then? Well, for one, the Deep Dungeon has some of the best items in the game, period. Really, really good items that you will definitely want. Also, the Deep Dungeon has the last actual ally that you can recruit in the game, in the final battle of it. There are 10 levels to the Deep Dungeon, so we're going to be here for a bit, but before we go in, it's worth noting a few things. For one, these battles are not contained in one single unit, they are floor by floor. So if you go into the first floor and things don't work out very well, or you have to use a lot of items or what have you, you can go back at the end of that battle and purchase and re-equip and whatever you need. Also, you will want to go in with a few considerations as far as your party and such. For one, make sure that you have a person who basically is D-Brave trained. And I say D-Brave trained because it has everything to do with Move Find Item. Move Find Item, if you'll recall, is the ability that allows you to dig up treasures on the map of whatever battle you're in, and do so with the percentage of 100 minus Brave as your rare percentage. So you'll want to get Brave as low as possible without causing major issues for your party. Now, if you're just playing by yourself, you can get that Brave as low as 7 and be fine. Just be aware that at the end of every battle, you will have a message pop up basically saying, hey, your Brave's getting a little low, you might want to be careful. But for the purposes of my playthrough, I'm leaving it at 16 because once it gets below 15, it will start giving you those messages and I don't want you guys to have to see them at the end of every battle. Thus, I have my Monica, I have my wizard set up accordingly. I also gave her some battle boots instead of the chantage because I want to increase her mobility, and that will be important as far as trying to find some of those treasures a little bit quicker. Whoops. That's not what I wanted to do. But it'll help her to find those treasures quicker, and that will help us out overall. Another thing worth noting about the Deep Dungeon is, well, you will have to try to find the exit to each dungeon area before being able to progress in the story, or before being able to progress in each floor. If you destroy all the enemies before you find that exit, you're not progressing. I mean, you'll beat the floor, you'll get money and all that good stuff, but you will not be able to move on to the second floor, so keep that in mind, or whichever floor is next. That's why it's a really good idea to bring Beowulf, because all of those skills, especially chicken, is really, really good here. You will want to chicken one of your enemies, have them basically go clucking off, and then kill the rest of them, and go from there. Yet another thing worth noting is you will want to bring some of your most powerful units, basically your most powerful people along, because some of the monsters in here can be really, really tough. That is why I've basically pulled the training wheels off of Orlando. Of course, he has his Excalibur, which is wonderful, and I gave him the escutcheon, the Genji helmet, and the Genji armor, which makes him basically impermeable, or close to it anyway. So yeah, I think that's about all we really need to mention in regards to this. So let's go ahead and head into the first level of the Deep Dungeon, which is Nogias. Nogias, if you are good at word type stuff, is Saigon written backward. Saigon was the capital of South Vietnam up until the end of the Vietnam War in the early 70s, when it was taken over by the North Vietnamese Communist government. Saigon was then renamed Ho Chi Minh City, and I think this is one of two nods that the game developers put in as something of a memorial for the events that happened during the Vietnam War. Most of them not very good for really anybody who was part of it. There will be another nod in a later title that we will see, but we will, like I said, see that later. So for now, let's go ahead and head into the Deep Dungeon and see what we can find. Okay, so you'll note Ramza actually is optional in these battles. He is not a required member of the units. So if you want to leave him out, you can. I'm not going to, but you can if you wish. Alright, let's see. I am actually going to put my wizard up front here, because it's not going to be terribly important as far as the way this battle is set out, and it will get her on the path of trying to find those items a little bit quicker. I also want Beowulf. I will sit him here, and then I'm going to put, let's see, where is, oh, there you are. There's Orlando. I will sit him there, and then I will include Worker 8 here on this side right there. So, I think that should pretty well do it. Welcome to battle number 61 and the beginning of the Deep Dungeon in Nogias. Now, one of the first things you probably noticed about this is, well, first off, the description is a lie. I mean, yes, you can finish up the floor by destroying all the enemies, but that's not the idea. You want to find the exit too. But you've noticed it's entirely dark. There's no visibility here whatsoever. Now, to get that visibility, you have to kill enemies. Oh no, my god, they're all red goblins. Holy crap. But you have to kill enemies and then wait for them to crystallize, and when they crystallize, it will illuminate the dungeon a little bit. So that's really about the only way to do it. Okay, so spots that you will want to avoid if you're walking around everywhere. You will want to avoid this spot right here because it has a treasure. And if you don't have the treasure, it will be a trap. Or if you don't have move, find item, rather. You will also want to avoid this spot right here, in addition to, let's see, this one here. And then, where's the last one? The last one is 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, right there. Yeah, that's it. Okay. So yes, you will want to avoid all of those spots if you're traveling around. So I'm going to be trying my darndest to avoid said spots. Alright, so Ramza, honestly, with as many many red goblins as there are here, I don't think there's going to be much of a problem here. So I'm going to go ahead and have Ramza head down here, and this will in essence be his base of operations, for the time being anyway, so I can go ahead and start hitting things. Okay, that's not going to hit. That's not going to hit either. I'm a little surprised. I guess line of sight was worse than I thought. Alright, well in that case then, hey, how about you gut yourself, eh? I mean, scream is always a good thing to do if you don't have anything else to do. Alrighty, so that ups our brave and all of our stuff, so that's always nice. Okay, now, Orlando, you don't have you don't have ignore height, so you can't actually go down there, but that doesn't mean you can't be particularly useful. You're always useful. Let's just move you over here for now. It's going to be a turn or two before he can get into the action. Okay, now I want to go ahead and start moving her, toward the treasures in question. And I also want to see about hastening both her and Beowulf if possible. Okay, let's see. I think 89 is going to be XP Prime. She has XP 5 and level 4. Well, that doesn't help. But if they're on the same height, I can do a height of 4. And yeah, hasten pretty much just about everybody, actually. Okay, let's see. 7, 6, 2. Okay, yeah, I think we're good. Yeah, okay. There we go. So height of 4 should do it quite nicely. And it's not really going to matter so much for Beowulf because, for Orlando. Good lord. Because Orlando's already hastened. It will matter for Beowulf and for my calculator. And it missed him anyway. Oh well. Hey, there you go. That's who I really wanted it to hit, was her. And him. And Worker 8 doesn't matter because Worker 8 has native innocent, so no soup for you. Alright, that'll do. And I want to try to get Beowulf down here as soon as possible. Partially because he needs to take part in all this anyway, but also because I wanting to work on, if I can English right, who I'm going to chicken. Because the chicken is going to be the one that clucks around while we try to find the exit. Everybody else will die merciless deaths. So, yeah, we'll see. Oh, man. I kind of figured there'd be more variety to these enemies, actually. You get a variety of possibilities in regards to the enemies in these levels, depending on which level, obviously, that you are, or that you're in, rather. So, sometimes you can get human characters facing you. Sometimes you get lots of monsters, like we see here. Okay, alright, so those are the two spots I need to avoid, so I'm good going here. And will Lightning Stab actually be able to... Yeah, it will. Okay. Oh, probably got one dead goblin here. Yep, there you go. Alright, now, Worker 8, how about you start pecking away at some of these others here. This is an area where Worker 8 has a lot of advantage because you notice that height difference. Ain't no way on God's green earth those goblins are getting to him, but Dispose easily gets to them. So definitely something to keep in mind as well. Okay, let's see. Down here, I'm trying to avoid this one. So I should be good to actually sneak over here and take on this one. It's not... Oh, it is going to kill him. Okay. Yeah, that'll work. Alright. And it poached him, so ooh, that's something I got to keep in mind too. Alright, so let's go ahead and pick up this treasure. It should be a good one because my chances are 84% in my favor. There you go, Glacier Gun. Sweet. Alright, so that's that. Now, Beowulf, you... okay, that's not the space, so I'm good. Alright, now, if I can chicken, this would be obviously the best thing for me to do. And none of them are in chicken range yet, so... Now, the main reason I said I've kind of got to keep things in mind as far as being able, or as far as poaching is concerned, is because, as I mentioned, all of the enemies that you kill and allow to crystallize will light up the dungeon. So you'll definitely want to be careful in regards to that. Okay. Alright, I got to start thinking about which one I'm going to chicken because I'm going through these guys a little quicker than I thought I would. So, let's go ahead and take you down. Okay, good. And you're don't acted, so you would be a natural candidate. Good. Alright, so my next treasure's right here. Let's go ahead and pick her up. Got an elixir. Sweet. Alright, so next up, we're going to be heading over, let's see, 4, 5, 6, so we're heading right here. Alright, so let's go ahead and point you in that direction. Now, you're probably going to go after Ramza. Yeah, that's, okay, you didn't attack. That's a little weird. If you insist, okay. You're going to run off, so go forth and run off. That's perfectly fine with me. Alright, Beowulf. Yeah, we should be in good shape, I think. And what I'm going to have Beowulf do, I think, while he's over here, is not only focus on chicken, but I'm going to start taking him through the areas that could potentially be the exit. And I say potentially because there's 4 different places that could possibly, actually 5 now that I look at the map. There are 5 different places that could possibly be the exit. This is the nasty spot, but this is a potential exit. This is a potential exit. Then we've got another potential exit right in the corner here, so hopefully none of the enemy sits on that spot. Then we've got another potential exit, let's see, actually right below where Worker 8 is, right here. And then we've got a final one, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 1, right there. Okay. Oh boy, I might have to remember that spot. I might be sending Orlando that way. Okay, so you can't really do anything right now. And I figure let's go ahead and have you dispose of... Okay, you're don't acted, so let's dispose of you. That should eliminate just about every other threat that we have. Yeah, there we go. Good. Okay. Alright, now, we're going to move you over in this direction. So let's go forth. Alright, and then you can go ahead... Okay, let's see. Let's actually see about having you slaughter this one. You should be able to. Okay, there we go. And that leaves 1 enemy alive, and I'm going to move you over toward... Let's see, okay, so you can actually go to this space. Okay, that is not the exit, otherwise it would have told me. Alright, so let's see. This is the sensitive space, so let's not actually do that. Let us head over here so that he can get close to that next exit spot. Alright, now you need to run over here. And let's see, what would be better? Either stop or chicken. I can only, let's see, I can put you to sleep. 90, yeah, that would be the best thing to do, 98%, so good. He won't be able to move into one of the sensitive spots. There's a lot of strategy really inherent in these levels here. Okay, so he is, alright, so Beowulf, excuse me, Orlando, good God, me and my names. Orlando is close to that space there, so I'll probably move him there next turn. Let's see, that is a potential exit. Okay, and it is not the exit. Alright, otherwise it would have queued. Okay, so next exit is right here, and that is not it either. Okay, so you don't need to do anything. You need to grab the treasure here. And we got the Kiyomori. Sweet! Okay, good. That's a really good samurai sword, obviously. Okay, so final, let's see, well, we got 2 more exit spots. We've got this one right here, and that is not it. Okay, so the last one, actually the final exit spot is over in the corner, so man, I'm glad I put that guy to sleep as I did, because otherwise we wouldn't have been able to get to it in time. So the exit's got to be over here then. Now the question is simply, who's going to get to it first? But I don't want actually anybody to get to, or at least I don't want anybody to kill that enemy before we get the last treasure. Okay, you're not don't active, but you're still asleep, so whoop-de-doo. Alright, this should cue it. Yep, there we go. We found a path that goes further on. Alright, so now all that's left to do is get the last treasure and kill the enemy. So I'm just going to go ahead and run through turns here. Whoops, not you. You're the one hunting for the treasures. Alright, so the last treasure is 1, 2, 1, 2. It's right there. So that'll put you right next to it. And the next turn, we should be able to get the treasure and get the heck out of here. Alright, go ahead and cycle through here. Unfortunately, oh, there we go. Treasure box. Treasure. They're all dropping treasure boxes. That's just wrong. There we go. So we got Glacier and Blaze Guns in this dungeon. Fantastic. Alright, well, Orlando is probably not going to be able to do the honors, actually. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Actually, he could from here. I don't know. Will it actually be able to reach? Yeah, it sure will. Wow. Orlando, would you do the honors, please? And that wraps it up. And for our prize for Battle 61, we get 33,400 gil. Not bad. The treasure's a lot better. Now, since we did get the switch for the previous one, we open up the second floor of the Deep Dungeon, Terminate. And next time on Final Fantasy Tactics, we will go into Terminate and see what great treasures and scary monsters await us. So, thank you guys for joining me, and I'll see y'all later.